Hey everyone, welcome back to another RestoreMySneakers.com video. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to restitch the toe cap using a sewing awl. When shoes are produced in the factory, they use a machine to stitch thread into the toe piece. You may be wondering, what is a sewing awl? Well, a sewing awl allows you to do the same exact thing that the machine can, but manually. You may be wondering, where can you purchase a sewing awl? This particular one I purchased on eBay, Amazon.com, Joann's Fabrics, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and certain hardware stores should have sewing awls in their store. So along with the sewing awl, you're going to need the original thread that was removed from the toe cap. If you don't have the original thread left, the closest thing I've found at an arts and crafts store is embroidery floss. With the embroidery floss, you're going to want to use some beeswax to strengthen the thread. Forgot to mention I purchased the beeswax on eBay as well. The thread needs to be strengthened because it's really flimsy and fragile, and it does make it a little hard when you're working with the sewing awl. And using beeswax will make it a little easier. The reason why you would want to use beeswax on the embroidery floss is to strengthen the thread, and that actually helps when restitching this thread onto the shoe. Otherwise, this thread will actually start shredding when it passes through this little hole on the needle. So to demonstrate the process, I'm going to use the sole from the Military Blue Force. So you actually get to see what's going on in the front as well as on the inside. When we finish up the black fours, we will show you how to restitch the toe cap to the upper. So at the base of the sewing awl, it actually unscrews, and inside you have two needles, one that's curved and one that's straight. I'm going to be using the straight needle. The other tool that's inside is this piece that allows me to unscrew this piece and unscrew this screw. And since I'm not going to be using the spool with the thread, I'm just going to unscrew it and remove it altogether. Now you're going to put the needle into this hole and secure it with the wrench. Make sure that it's on there tight. You don't want it coming off when you're stitching. So instead of using the two original threads that was on the toe cap, I'm going to be using a black thread on the inside of this piece right here to emphasize the process that's going on. Alright, so I'm going to wax the thread. Go one more time. Alright. Next thing you want to do is pass the thread through the hole right there on the needle. Alright. Now I like to start on the left side of the toe cap. You're going to want to go through that first hole and push this needle all the way in and pull the thread. and then pull the needle out. So if you're going this way, you're going to pull it towards your right. If you pull it towards your left, it's going to come out weird. And make sure that you have enough slack. Now you're going to go back with the needle and go to the next hole. Now this is when you get this thread and pass it through. Once you have that through, pull on the thread and you should have this. Alright, next hole. Make sure you don't poke yourself, the needle is pretty sharp. Alright, hold on to the thread and pull towards your right. Now with the thread, loop it through the top. And then pull from the front. And keep going. Make sure you straighten out your needle. You don't want it to bunch up while you're doing the process. Just to make sure that you know where the black thread is going through. When I have this loop, I'm going through the top of it. And then you pull. And then when you pull your needle, pull it away. And then pull on this thread on the outside. If the black thread starts to show on the outside, you'll need to pull it on the inside. So if this were to happen right here, just pull on the inside to tuck it back in. So right now, you can see that the thread has unraveled. I didn't put enough wax, I guess. So I'm just gonna pull this out. And run the wax again. Alright. Make sure that it passes through and then continue process. So now I'm on the last hole. So I'm just going to guide the needle through and then pull the thread in. Okay. And then make sure that your thread doesn't have that inside thread showing, so if you need to, pull on it to adjust accordingly. Remember, the purpose of this video was to show you the process of restitching the toe cap. When you get to the point where you're restitching the toe cap to the upper, it's going to be more difficult. You can't see what's going on the inside. So when you're using the needle and the thread, you're going to have to feel it out and stitch it that way. When we get to this part of the restoration, restitching the toe cap to the upper, we will show you how that process goes about. But this video is mainly for those of you who are already on that last step of the process, and all you need to do to finish it up is to add the stitching to the toe cap. So this process of restitching the toe cap, it can be applied for any other shoe that is stitched the same way, such as the Jordan 3, Jordan 5, or even Dunks and Air Force Ones that are stitched all the way around. So that's about it. This is how you restitch the toe cap. In the next installment of the midsole swap process, we will show you how to repaint the midsole. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to stay tuned for our next episode.